Hey guys, it's your girl Boonie, and you're listening to episode 91 of the Boonie Breakdown podcast. The podcast where we sometimes cry, we always laugh, we might get a bit ratchet, but we're forever going to break it down. Your source for all things responsible and ratchet. Hey guys, we're back for another episode that's on time this week. This week, my guest is Vanessa of the VagEsteem podcast. You guys know I love having fellow podcasters on, and Vanessa was actually a guest at my November 2018 live show. So if you're unfamiliar with Vanessa, she is a passionate health educator. So she knows what the fuck she's talking about. She's not making shit up and telling you to do things that are not healthy for you. And her whole premise and her passion is just encouraging good and healthy sex through courageous conversations about love, sex, relationships, and everything in between. And so in this courageous conversation that I have with her, we break down a few myths about tight pussy taste and smell. And fellas, before you even be like, oh, I ain't gonna listen, we chat about ED, yes, erectile dysfunction. So fellas, you can get a lot out of this conversation too, so stay tuned. Now it's time to get into my pick of the week. This week it is a very simple pick. Protective styles for all my natural girls out there. It is just so great to have something that you can put your hair away because I'm tired. I'm busy right now. I don't have time to fool with Shaka, okay? I got these faux locks, and before I never really got faux locks because I didn't like how stiff and hard they look. They looked like faux locks, right? But I saw someone who had some like natural looking ones, and that's what I got. They crochet. They didn't take that long. They didn't hurt my head, and it gives me a break and wasting time on doing my hair every week, every day. And so shout out to Protective Styles this week. Let's move into our housekeeping. A lot of feedback from episode 90 with Brian. We did a steak and blowjob day special, and I was laughing because someone was just like, I really thought y'all were going to be talking about meat and temperature. And I'm like, what? Why would you think that about an episode with Brian and myself, right? But a lot of you just said we were off the chain, we were out of pocket, but y'all loved it. So I'm glad that you guys enjoyed another dose of ratchet with Brian and myself. I also want to shout out Keisha. I'm not going to say your Instagram name, but she showed me in a DM, she showed me the lovely steak dinner she cooked her boo. And she sent a very salacious, the picture was bomb as fuck. So if you kept that picture, girl, you should like blow it up and put it in your bedroom because the picture was bomb as fuck. So I'm glad you guys had some great steak and blowjob day celebrations. Next, I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to have a spring sale on Boonie Breakdown merchandise. If you use the code SPRING19, so SPRING19, you'll save on your orders over at theboonieBreakdown.com/shop. So go over, grab your tees and tanks. And if you want to get a sweatshirt before it gets warm, you can also use the code on the Ratchet Notes set and on the Boonie Ratchet Box of Love. I'm on a crusade to get reviews for the Boonie Breakdown podcast. I appreciate those of you who were able to leave some reviews over on the Facebook page. And we did get a new review over in what's it called? Apple Podcast, the Purple app. This review was left by Black Girl Magic, and it says the show is great. I love Boonie and her Baltimore accent. Laughing emoji, heart emoji. I try to keep the Baltimore accent tucked in. I really do. But sometimes it pop out and it say, hey, y'all, water do, Doug. It come out. Even though I am not a Baltimore girl who says Doug, that really bothers me. So you have a dog. But if you ever hear me say Doug, oh my gosh, shoot me, okay? But thank you again, Black Girl Magic, for your review. And if you want to leave a review, if you listen to the podcast on any Apple device, you can go over on the Purple app and search the Boonie Breakdown. Even if you follow us and subscribe already, you must type in the search the Boonie Breakdown, okay? Once you click on it, then you scroll down, click write a review, and bam, there you go. don't listen on an Apple device, you can leave a review over on our Facebook page. Make sure you follow us there as well, facebook.com/the Boonie Breakdown. You can follow us on Instagram, the Boonie Breakdown. You can follow us on Twitter, just Boonie Breakdown. Okay, we're on all social media. If you're on Pinterest, you can go to pinterest.com/the Boonie Breakdown, and we're there as well. So I appreciate you following across and engaging with me on all social media. And when you share this episode, you want to share a screenshot, a tweet, a quote from the episode, just make sure you use the hashtag the Boonie Breakdown or the hashtag PodN, PODIN. You can use them both together if you would like. I appreciate it. Makes it easier for me to find. You can tag me as well if your page is unlocked. You guys know the deal. I will reshare and I will send you lovely words of thanks. Okay. So that is it for me, guys. So let's get ready to break it down. Hey guys, it's your girl Boonie, and I'm really excited about this episode. I always get excited when I can invite fellow podcasters on, and then a podcaster from Baltimore. And then she already did my live show. I don't know why we waited so long to do this episode, but welcome, Vanessa, to the podcast.
Hey. Thanks for having me, Boonie.
Yes, I'm so excited for this one. It's been a long time coming. We did the live show. It was dope. I'm just going to get this out the way now because some people at the live show thought, oh, Vanessa, she's a part of VagEsteem, so she must steam vaginas. And that is not true at all. So can you explain to the people what VagEsteem is?
Y'all, see, that's the thing. I created a whole word on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Two words coming together. So it is VagEsteem, like self-esteem. But VagEsteem basically is a workshop series and podcast that encourages courageous conversations about love, sex, and everything in between. And it started in 2013, 2014, and it kind of grew out of my own personal work as a sexual health educator. So in my personal work, I noticed that women weren't as comfortable and forthcoming to talk about sex in public areas, whereas I found that men were super comfortable. And so I thought to myself, how can we create safer spaces for women to come together, learn from each other's experiences, hear each other's stories? Because I always feel like women are always the ones to be like, oh, I didn't know that she experienced that too, or oh, I thought I was the only one. And so I just started inviting my homegirls over. They started inviting their homegirls over to my house, and I would host different workshops from sex 101 to orgasm 101 to building your vaginal self-esteem, which is basically where VagEsteem came from one of the workshops that I did. And it kind of outgrew my home. I would have women here eating up all the snacks until like 2:00 in the morning. And that's when I realized I needed to find spaces and find more room to accommodate, the growing audience that was coming. And I also realized how important these conversations are. And so in 2016, I decided to create a podcast so that I could reach more people and, we can continue having these courageous conversations in case people weren't in Baltimore. But now it's completely evolved. It's workshops, it's events, it's the podcast, and I will go everywhere and anywhere to your city to talk about sex. And that's kind of the perspective that the podcast takes. It is a sex ed podcast, and I feel like that's what distinguishes me. I feel like sex education is really poor in this country. A lot of us don't have those conversations, and so we talk about literally everything.
I'm sitting here nodding my head. No, and Vanessa's sex ed is just like not your mom's sex ed. Like her episodes, I enjoyed one. She had one that was like about threesomes and then butt sex, which I think just gets a bad rap. But like it's not the sex ed that you dreaded.
Boonie was on there too, y'all.
So I do I got excited about this episode because I thought about something from the live show. And one of the things we talked about there that got kind of a visceral reaction from some of the guys in the audience was we talked about you do these things on your platform called the VagEsteem myth. And one of those myths that was there's no such thing as tight pussy.
Woo! Ain't no thing, y'all. Tight pussy is dry pussy. They be out here acting all brand new. But yes, you are so right, because one audience like, and so
because people get so caught up in that.
and that's the thing. And so the reason why this is what I love about Boonie. Boonie is clearly one of those people that does her homework and her research and will be like,
I do.
This is what you said. Because when I got on that stage, Boonie was like, so on February 22nd, you posted something on your Instagram that said that you don't believe in tight pussies. And so, yes, so Boonie said that, and it was a real education moment, because I feel like everybody was quiet when I was talking about it. And so
they were. The heads were tilted.
So basically what I mean by that is, when we have all of this hype, especially when we're talking about men or people with penises, they're always talking about, that pussy's so tight, this, and that. Well, what happens when a person with a vagina is aroused? They become wet. The blood is rushing down to the clitoris, is rushing down to the lips. And so it causes actually an elongation in the vagina and the walls, and they become mushier, smushier, and all of those feelings that we feel. So if you have a vagina and you're getting aroused, if you stick your finger in, it feels like a pillow. And if you're super aroused, you're getting wet. And so if we are wet, there's a ton of different sensations that can be felt. But tight, yes, sure, with like muscle tone and blah, blah, blah. But when we're talking about tightness, it could be that the person either has super tight muscles, it could be that the person is involuntarily using those muscles, and it could also be dry. Just straight up, like you're not, you are not your muscles are not elongating when you are dry. And so to put that at the epitome or the top of what, is like the best pussy, I completely rebuke that in the name of the VagEsteem. And
look, you out here rebuking it. And that's the thing, I'm like, women, and I feel like women fall into that trap too, like, ooh, this pussy tight, like using it to talk about good pussy. And guys use it as a qualifier to good pussy too. And you shut them all the way down. I'm sure somebody listening to this right now is like, oh, what? She just came for my neck, because y'all out here talking about tight pussy, and that's not the pussy you want to be fucking.
And that's the thing, like we wanted to feel like a pillow. We wanted to feel wet. And the thing that often blows people's minds is that in the United States, we typically have sex beginning to end within 11 to 19 minutes. But on average, it takes a person with a vagina, their body, it takes them about 25 to 45 minutes for them to be fully aroused, meaning that they are wet, meaning that everything is flowing, everything's juicy, the blood is flowing, and also the uterus, when aroused, starts tilting to make room for whatever's going inside the vagina. So that means that a lot of people are walking around with bruised cervixes, because if we doing it from beginning to end that quickly, then when they like, yeah, girl, I could feel it in my guts, I could feel it in my stomach. Nah, sis, you feel it because your cervix was just sitting there getting pounded on. So you're right, Boonie. Like, we have to do a lot of undoing with like what we see as desirable or favorable, and that's a result because we just don't know, and we just keep pushing around all the myths. And sorry, because we're on this and we're talking about the tight pussy thing, a lot of people have really naturally toned vaginas. So when we're talking about like Kegels,
Oh.
say that people do Kegel overload. And what you will find is that people will actually have problems with their pelvic floor because they're doing them too much. And so my advice is to just like chill the F out, y'all. Chill the F out. If you are living a healthy lifestyle, you're walking, you're doing your Kegels every once in a while, you should be fine. It's just so much pressure for no reason. And I do know a lot of people who've reached out to me who are like, I can't even, I can't have the sex that I want because my muscles are too tight. Or after childbirth, my muscles got so tight, I can't have sex that's pleasurable for me. So we need to calm down.
Listen, I just I keep laughing as you were doing that and I was trying not to laugh too loud because I know how my laugh can be. But I learned something there too, because you do learn about Kegels, and I just did a Kegel right now, right? Like they're so easy to do, and people don't do them. But that is a adjective that I had never heard to describe my vagina before. A lot of people have toned vaginas. That just made me feel kind of good about myself.
What kind of pussy you got, girl? I got toned pussy. That's what I got. Like, you say whatever you want, y'all. But we putting too much damn pressure on ourselves.
Don't say it's tight. Say it's toned.
Right. Like, get out of here. And like, people with penises can do Kegels too, but no one's talking to them about it.
Now, that's the word. I told a guy that I used to mess with. Because pretty much I used to joke, I was like, oh, man, I'm letting y'all know too much. But I used to be like, make that dick jump for me, right? I used to say that all the time.
That's right.
I'd be like, make that dick jump. And so he would do it. And then I one day afterwards, we were done. We were just like laying there. And I was like, yeah, I was like, you should just make sure you tell your guys to do Kegels too. And he was like, a guy can't do a Kegel. I was like, well, what the hell you think you're doing when you're dick jumping?
Yeah, that's a Kegel.
It's a Kegel.
It's a Kegel, y'all.
So, fellas, you do your Kegels too. And remember, get
in touch. And it helps. It helps them with urine flow. It helps them with coming too quickly. So there are benefits for both people, but just like you work out your muscles on your arm, you can't be working that thing out every single day, 24 hours a day, trying to achieve whatever result. Like, you gotta breathe,
I'm like,
y'all.
What? So I do feel like, the other thing, as we talk about, building self-confidence through your vagina, I think that's one thing people always think they gotta have like tight, wet pussy, but that's literally contradictory, right? But the other thing too is people get caught up on smell. And I think that's another one of your VagEsteem myths. I'm going to misquote it, but you always say like, the feminine hygiene product industry is just making billions off of your low self-esteem.
You damn, come on with the rewrite. I like that one better. Boonie. So
I got a marketing degree and shit.
Love. So yeah, it's one of the things that I talk about often, especially when it comes to your, the keys of, if I can call it that, the keys of building your VagEsteem, because I teach people of all ages, and I teach kids as well. And when I'm in the school, without a doubt, I always tell, like, I typically start in like 5th grade, and I always tell them, hey, so the vagina, and I teach both boys and girls, the vagina has its own aroma. Not your vagina is not supposed to smell, and a vagina is not supposed to smell like roses and ocean breeze and whatever Bath and Body Works is selling us right now, but I did like that, what's that, vanilla, cinnamon, whatever. Anyway, so it's not supposed to smell that way. And so because I don't know where we learn these things. I'm always trying to figure out like the historical, like, growing up, like, when did you learn that your vagina was supposed to smell like X or Y, or not smell like X or Y? And without a doubt, every single time I teach 8th grade boys in particular, it's always like, oh, so-and-so smells like fish. Oh, so-and-so smells like this.
Oh, not the fish
And
joke.
it's like, well, have you smelled balls? Have y'all have y'all smelled balls though? I mean, let's calm down.
Yeah,
But
ball's not the most pleasant either.
okay, like I'm telling you, these people just be putting these balls in your face like they don't smell. But I digress. But the thing about the and when I teach adult women, the thing that always comes up is, well, if it's not supposed to smell like X, then why do they have those products on the market? Well, it's because they know that our whole lives we are being made fun of, we are being told that something is wrong with our vaginas, something looks ugly about our
Mm-hmm.
vulvas, they are supposed to look a certain way, they're supposed to be bald, they're supposed to be youthful, they're not supposed to have any hair bumps and all of this shit that they're selling us. But those chemicals that are in those products have been shown time and time again to be harmful to our health. So when we are talking about our grandmothers having douches and why they still sell those, well, the thing is that our grandmothers tell you that, oh, you're supposed to douche after sex or you're supposed to douche after your period. However, what the douche does is actually take that bacteria, that bad bacteria, and shove it way deeper into your tract, into like your uterus, into your vaginal tract, which causes growth of harmful bacteria, yeast infections, which then cause a lot of the scents that we're trying to escape from. So if you feel like you smell like fish, if you do smell like fish, you have an infection, you need to go get that checked out. No amount of anything that you see at the store is going to help you out. You need to go get that checked out. But say that there's an odor, what you're doing is pushing that bacteria further down and you're actually causing more damage, and it causes more bad odor because now we've just sat there and tried and masked it, and those chemicals that are in those products are not in alignment with our bodies. And for a lot of people, we're super sensitive to those products, and it causes all the things that we don't want, which we're not looking for. So I say we need to do a whole re-education around what it is to like clean the vagina, look at the vulva, et cetera, et cetera. And all it takes is a warm washcloth, y'all, some mild soap. And when I say mild, I'm talking about Dove. I'm talking about oil of Olay. I'm talking about whatever delicate stuff you got around. I am not talking about Irish Spring. I'm not talking about that. All right, some of y'all got your
Oh Lord, Irish Spring.
Irish Spring will just strip everything right off of you, okay?
Oh,
Don't be using
that just made me hurt.
don't be using no dial. Don't be using no dial down there, okay? Like use some mild soap if you must use soap. Some people are too sensitive that they cannot use soap, and a mild washcloth and some water should do the trick. We need to wash up in the crevices and we should be good to go. But your shit is supposed to smell like you. And when I say that, people are
smells,
like, what does that
yeah.
smell like?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why people get caught up in that, like what you're supposed to smell like. And I know this might be taking it too extreme for some people, but I feel like some people too, you need to taste yourself, right? Because you want someone else's mouth to go there, blah blah blah, and you're self-conscious about it. Well, then you fucking taste it yourself. And I always am leery of people that, you know, after you perform oral sex, if you're in a relationship where you don't use, you know, condoms or whatever, dental dam, whatever, and you go to kiss the person and they move their head, like, well, fool, it's you. Right? So you're telling me you don't want to taste yourself? Because now I'm looking at you sideways.
Right, because what's going on down there, and why was it safe enough for me to go down there? Like, what? No. And so the thing is, everyone varies in their scent. Some people smell like nothing. Some people, like for me, if I drink coffee, you're smelling coffee all down there. Like, even when I pee, it smells like coffee.
Yeah.
So it's just some people, their food, the way that they digest food. If you eat a lot of garlic and a lot of salt and a lot of meat, you might have a tangier taste versus somebody who might be eating a lot of different fruits and vegetables. So all of these things metabolize in our bodies in different ways. The only time we need to be alarmed is if you smell like fish. Fish is an indication of an actual infection and you just need to get that checked out, no big deal. It happens to everybody, but there's no reason to be sitting around embarrassed because literally it happens to everybody. Just get it checked out, but do not buy those things. You just making a whole bunch of rich people richer based off of our insecurities. So save your money, boo.
Save them coins. And if you do want to spend something, then you should do Honey Pot, which is Black owned, plant based.
Yeah.
But if you do feel, because that's what I use to wash, but I'm not douching or all that extra unnecessary stuff. But that is my wash down there.
Yeah. I remember I was doing the class for adult, like, and when I say adult women, I'm talking about 35 and up. So I had like people's grandmothers in the class too. And I had people being like, oh, like, what about this product? And this woman pulled out this like case, a little case out of her purse. And she was like, I've been using this for years. And I look at it and the shit literally has the same ingredients that that's in deodorant. Like, deodorant is supposed to dry your armpits. So if you're using this, sis, you walk around with that dry, of course it's masking everything because it's literally sucking up the moisture. And I was like, I need you to stop. Oh my gosh. Because she was like, I don't know, sometimes it feels funny, but I'm used to this. I've been using this for years. And that's the thing. We also convince ourselves that we need this stuff. And then we're actually causing a lot of internal damage for no reason. So, no.
No, yeah, I that is one of the big things that I'm so shocked at how many people, still douche and do all these unnecessary things that you really just don't have to do down there. And so that is, whenever I see you post that myth, I'm like, she hurting somebody's feelings, but but I laugh just like that. Like, ha, ha, ha. I'm not right.
And I always have a person that will contact me and be like, oh, you don't need to keep posting that stuff. Like, oh, everybody knows that.
Really?
Everybody knows
No, you
that.
do, because clearly people need it.
No, people absolutely, like, as long as them products still stay on the shelf, as long as those companies still stay in business, like, people are using it. There's no reason. They're still at the Giant down the street where we live at, Boonie, they still got douches on the shelf. Like, somebody is mixing up some water and vinegar to throw up in there. So no.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop letting us beat up on the people with pussies right now, and
that's right.
Let's talk about penises.
Let's.
So I was reading a statistic, and it said that 40% of men, and I don't even know if you have expertise in this, but you're a sex educator and you can finesse. So you do. I know you do. I have faith. 40% of men experience erectile dysfunction before the age of 40.
Oh.
And now that I'm moving like into my late I'm in my mid 30s, but the late 30s are right there. And most of my counterparts were in our 30s.
Yeah.
That is, and I just think it's so unfair that women peak sexually in their 30s, and then you have a statistic going around that 40% of men experience erectile dysfunction on a consistent basis before age 40. Wow, Lord.
So, it's funny because women also peak again around 70, which I think is just incredible. I'm like ready. I'm ready for
70.
Yes, sis.
Oh my God, I'm so ready.
So the thing about erectile dysfunction, yeah, I mean the stat, it's like I could believe it. And I mean, I think that people get erectile dysfunction for a number of reasons. A lot of people, it's literally all in your brain, like anxiety performance. Like,
Mm.
am I going to be able to dick her down? Am I going to be able to, am I going to be able, is my dick going to be able to get hard? Am I doing this right? Am I going to be able to satisfy my partner, etc., et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It could literally be in your head. And so, I mean, of as much as I show all the vages, all the V's love, the people with penises, they need that confidence boost too, because a lot of the messages that they get is always around like penis size and can you satisfy the person that you're with your penis, and is it big, and all of these different things. And so, we have some of that anxiety comes out through that form as well. I think also we have, when we're talking about erectile dysfunction, shifts in hormones, especially when we're talking about your personal behavior. So if you drink and smoke a lot, that definitely has an impact on the penis being able to get hard. And I think anybody who's been with a person with a penis, if you've been drinking heavily the night before and then you try to do something the next day or even a few hours later, sometimes it is hard to get an erection. And that's because of the way that the blood flow, the blood vessels, and the blood being able to flow right down to the penis. It could be nerves, it could be muscles, and also like things like diabetes, which is very common. And a lot of different things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and obesity can definitely play into this as well. So overall,
Yeah,
we
I,
just got to
I
keep ourselves
do.
healthy.
Yeah, when you said that, like the pressures, they have like a different set of pressure, right? And I do think,
Yeah.
I think I said this in a podcast with Brian,
Mm-hmm.
like, people with penises actually have like a, a, a true visual biological response to being aroused,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so like with a woman, you can see like her nipples may be hard, but like with a man, like you expect, or a man with a penis, you expect
Yeah.
them to have an erect penis, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I can get how you can get in your thoughts, right? If one like if you can't meet
Yeah.
that function.
Yeah. And especially,
My thoughts I really jumbled there, but
and I no, you said that perfectly. And I think you and I, as people who have had sex with people with penises, it's also difficult when like, you're like ready to do it and then like your brain isn't doing what you want your body to do, which I've experienced where a partner might be like, "Oh my god, no, I want to do this. I don't know what's happening. Oh my god." And that can happen as well, and it happens
yeah.
it happens for people. That is perfectly natural and normal that happens. But yeah, I think sometimes the all of these different factors, being able to perform, and on top of that, if you're dealing with someone who's in tune with themselves, who's trying to break the toxic masculinity, and they're trying to like, just like cuddle, and like you might have a partner that's like, "You supposed to dick me down. What's wrong with you?" Sometimes they want to chill too, y'all. Sometimes the peens want to chill.
Yeah, I do empathize with men, and I do feel like men, because, and this is a mass generalization, but they don't go to the doctors, especially black
Come
men.
on.
And
Okay.
so when there could be something else as the root cause of why you might be experiencing ED, right? Because you're ashamed and you
Mm-hmm.
already don't go to the doctor, you don't know what it could be. So it could be, like you said, a plethora of things. It
Right.
could be diabetes, it could be obesity, it could be your blood pressure's high, it's a signaling to you, get your ass to the doctor. It could even literally be depression,
Right.
like you don't even know you're depressed.
Right.
But you just take it
Right.
as, and especially if you're depressed, right? And you take that like, oh my God, look now I can't even perform, I'm not a man. That's just gonna dig you deeper into
Right.
depression, and your dick's still not gonna
Mhm.
work. So I don't know, like, so yeah, I just say all that to say is like you're in such a vicious cycle that's you're making it worse. Um and so I just feel like even if you just go talk to someone, um, it'll be okay. And I do think For me, I know if I had an issue with performing sexually and there was a pill for me to take to help me perform sexually, because I like sex, I'm going to take the pill. And so
I like that you said that, though, because some of it could just be as simple as you need to lose a few pounds. And of course, we love all bodies and everything, but if like literally your eating habits are getting in the way of you being able to get an erection, and there are studies out there that show weight and erections, there's a link there. So that's the thing, like going to the doctor, talking to the doctor, and guess what, people with penises, they care way more about your penis working than they care about our vaginas working. Ain't no Viagra for us, okay? Right. Like they're like, oh, sorry, bitch. Oh, you got the dry pussy back. Like they do not. They got nothing for us out here. And when you said the thing about the pill, here's the thing. What Boonie's talking about is going to the doctor, y'all, and getting a pill. Stop going to the gas station and buying whatever the hell. Buying whatever the hell they selling behind the window at 2:00 in the morning. Okay, there's too many people that I know who are like, yeah, so I bought these pills from the gas station. First of all, here's the thing about that. I understand sometimes you're in a jam, sometimes you ain't got time to make the doctor's appointment. The things that they sell at the gas station, we are not clear about what's in them. So and they're not regulated, there's no number you can call to be like, excuse me, I need to file a complaint because my dick hasn't gone down. Like we don't know what chemicals and products are in there. So for the people, so Boonie's talking about going to get a prescription from a doctor. But if you're like, nah, fam, I'm all holistic and stuff, then there are natural remedies like horny goat reed tea. They sell that. You can, of course you can cut back on drinking and smoking and, incorporating some exercise into your lifestyle, and basically having a healthier overall lifestyle can definitely help.
Yeah, I'm pretty much like, I'm always said this, I'm a fat girl, but I know to God that if that would be a true motivator for me, and I hope it never happens, but that would be a true motivator for me. If something was like I could no longer perform sexually because I was too fat, guess who would be at Planet Fitness all the time, eating right, because that means a lot to me.
Oh my God.
It's so terrible, hilarious. But we all have motivators.
No, listen. I messed up my birth control a few months back, and my hormones were all over the place, and my vagina was dry for like a week, like dry to the point where I could feel it, where it was like getting on my nerves, and I could not get wet. Girl, I was in that bathroom like, okay. All right. I can put some coconut oil on it. See, here's the thing. Let me put some coconut oil on it. It's gonna be fine. You know what? I'm not drinking
people,
enough
this
water.
Is real dialogue here.
I'm gonna drink some water. You know what? That's what's gonna do the trick. Maybe if I mix the water and the coconut oil and put it up there, it's gonna be like, I'm telling you, when your stuff is not working, it freaks you out. And so imagine when we're talking about erectile dysfunction, if you're like, I want to do this, but your penis is like, no.
Listen, you had a story like that. That's how I learned that I could not use a certain antibiotic because it dried everything out. And I remember, and then once it dried it out, it inflamed my vagina so bad that it was like, it was literally on fire. And I remember sitting in front of a oscillating fan with my drawers off, just with my legs spread eagle. Like, please, the air, please. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm a fuck that nigga up, because I'm thinking I get so many sinus infections that I was so used to getting antibiotics, but they gave me a new one. Like, okay, we got to switch it up. And then I was like, nah, they called the doctor, like, something's not right. But I went all over the scope first. Like, he gave me something, right? but literally it was because of an antibiotic. So I empathize. I had that. So now I know I can't do that. Don't give me that.
Yeah.
But like you said,
Listen.
anything that you ingest that you're doing to your body can have an effect on your sex organs, right? And this shit is not fun.
That's right.
But if there's
That's
a
right.
simple remedy
Nope.
that can help you, which is literally making a doctor's appointment, that I just don't understand why you wouldn't.
Right. Come through.
So that is there.
Let's just stop.
We both went on the mountaintop on that one. And
Listen.
let's bring it on down. I do. I mean, it's
I
a tough
empathize.
place. So I was having this conversation with a sister girl. So during Boonie Breakdown birthday week, I was giving away like a vibrator, and I was having a conversation with someone, and they had kind of like disclosed that they had never used a vibrator ever. And I was just so like taken back, like, So I did a poll on my Insta story, and I wanted to know, like, well, clearly she's not the only one. But and I was shocked. In that poll, it was just, two people. I think it was like 96% of the women who responded to the poll said of course they used a vibrator. And then one person messaged me to the side and kind of said, I'm so afraid to use one. So what tip would you give to the women out there who are curious about vibrators, never used one, and who are afraid of them?
Great question. So the thing about vibrators, I think it can really get intimidating, right? So we have some monster, thick, girthy vibrators that you're like, I'm sorry, where? I'm sorry, fam, where are you putting that? So for the first time folks, and just and this tip is for everybody, but for the first time folks, I would just find something small to go with at first, and just think about what you're more comfortable with. Are you looking for something to just kind of like massage the clitoris? Are you looking for something? Are you comfortable with inserting things? I'm not a big inserter. Like, if you try and insert something into my vagina don't want it. Or like even tampons.
I'm with you too.
My vagina's like, I don't know where you think you're putting that. No. So I'm more of a massager person. So you have to know I would say you have to know what your profile is. Like, what are you looking for? What do you need in that moment? And so if it's something that you just want to like have every once in a while to kind of get you there, then I would say find something that's like a clitoral massager, or something that's tiny, like, something that like the Bullet, or the, what do you call it with the bunny ears? The rabbit, bunny ears. And then try and start there and see what you're comfortable with. I think the other step to think about when it comes to vibrators, just from a health and safety standpoint, is to look at what that vibrator is made out of. So in the United States, we do not regulate the plastics that are used on sex toys. So if you pick up a toy and you could smell like rubber or plastic, put that down.
Okay, that's a good tip.
That rubber or plastic basically means it means that the rubber or plastic is seeping, which basically means that it can seep into your body. So those chemicals can be seeping right into your body. So you want to get something that's high quality. And I know there are ranges of sex toys out here. So when I say high quality, I'm not talking about you got to break the bank, but finding something that's high quality silicone is definitely durable and something that you can easily wash. But if you're getting something where you can definitely like smell the plastic, that is not what you want to be using. Of course, the high quality is glass, but those are really expensive. So I try and say find something within your price range, but also find something that's safe. And then when we're thinking about lube, remember that you cannot use silicone-based lube with silicone toys. You want to use a water-based lube. And then, of course, you want to wash your sex toys. And if you're using it with other people, put a condom on that joint. Make sure you're washing them because you can spread stuff that way. But yeah, I think those are
Come on with the tips.
I think those are my biggest. I'm not a huge toy person either. I have like one or two that I'm like, these are my go-tos. But yeah, I think it depends on what your needs are. If you're trying to get all your rocks off, we got the toys that you can stick on the wall and they're remote controlled and they'll move, so you ain't got to move. It's just really about what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm not I don't have, I think people might be shocked, but I don't have a lot of toys as well. The ones I have, I really enjoy. I said in, I think that was like episode 80 with Alex Fine, like I too don't like toys that require insertion. She was trying to convert me by, saying, oh, you should try this, but that's not my ministry either. I do prefer, because my thing is like, if I'm gonna do that, like I just rather have my man. So I like things that he can't do, and he can't do vibration like a toy that is plugged into the wall. So you guys hear me talk often about the magic wand. I do really enjoy it. It is very intense. So I always tell people, like, if you if you do that, then I suggest that you I really suggest that you don't do direct contact with it, because that'll be a lot for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think it's space there to at least try, and don't invest a lot of money. Don't think you need to go out and buy something insane.
Right.
It's insanely expensive. So yeah, I just say don't be afraid. Give it a try. And if it doesn't work for you, then that's it.
Right, and that's totally fine.
But don't.
Some people are hand people.
Look, those still work too.
Right. Like if you don't feel comfortable, that is totally fine. Good old handy hand and a pillow should be just fine.
Exactly. So I just feel like don't feel guilted into it, but I do think it's something you should try, because you might like it. But if you already know, like, that's just not my steez, then that's not my steez. So
right.
But yeah, don't feel forced into
right.
it. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I'm totally going. I don't know where my mind is right now.
It's fine.
But I do want to say, because it's been like that 45 minutes went really quick. And so we're at the point of the breakdown where
Yay!
Yeah, I'll say one word and you say the first thing that comes to mind. Okay?
Okay. All right.
First word, lube.
Wet.
Podcast.
Exciting.
Sex.
Ooh. Titillating.
Dildos.
Big.
Masturbation.
Oh, self-exploration.
Sex positive.
What makes my world go round?
And last one, VagEsteem.
All the feels and all the goodness.
Well, Vanessa, I'm so happy that you came onto the podcast. And if you could tell my listeners, if you could tell the listeners where they can find you across social media, on the internet, and I will be sure to link it in the show notes.
Absolutely. So everyone can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at VagEsteem. That is VAGESTEEM. I'm most active on Instagram, so you can DM me any questions that you have. We have listener episodes where we just answer all of your questions related to sex. You can also find events posted there as well. You can listen to the podcast anywhere that you listen to podcasts: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Music, Spotify, wherever.
She's
And you can
she's
check out my
everywhere.
you can check out my website at VagEsteem.com. Like Boonie said, I will come to your college, your bat mitzvah, your baby shower, and I will teach you a thing or two.
Perfect. So thank you so much. You can find all of that in the show notes. Be sure to follow, open the purple app and all those places she said. Hit subscribe, hit follow, because you'll love it. So thanks again, Vanessa.
Thanks, Boonie. This has been incredible. Love you so much. Love what you're doing, and keep going, girl.
Likewise. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks again to Vanessa for coming on the podcast. You know, Vanessa is just so bomb. She's not afraid to go there. I love her, and VagEsteem is totally Boonie approved. So please, please, please follow her, support the great work she's doing, and don't get your feelings hurt if one of her VagEsteem myths applies to you. Just live and learn from the lesson. And if you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, or in Google Podcasts, or any app that you listen to your favorite podcasts on. Don't forget to leave those reviews too. You might just hear your review on the next episode. Follow us on social media. Share the episode with those you love, those you don't love, those you fucking hate. And don't make those pretty images for nothing, okay? Have a dope ass week. It's the first day of spring this week. Thank you for listening. And remember, the ratchet in me always honors the ratchet in you. Namaste. Until next time.